even when you've made it as you have, and you've really been working in this field for some time, you still go to auditions, you still get rejection.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And your spirituality helps you with that process of being rejected. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, like I say, when you do auditions, you're asked to do any number of things, different dialects, different voices, different attitudes, high, low, long, short, characters, be real. Don't be like an announcer, be real, speak your mind. And so I go with many other men and women in New York City to auditions in studios, and the casting director will come in and say, here's your script. We want you to try to read it this way. This is the idea of the writer. The writer has this in mind. Can you give him what you think he should have? And I'll say, well, sure, I'll try. And it might be, you might be doing a Southern person. You might be doing a person from Canada. You might be doing something with someone with a Spanish accent, someone with a French accent. And they said, this is what we want to do. And you give your best, and then you'll say, listen, I hope I gave it to my best. They said, you were great, thanks so much. And you walk out of the room. And usually the casting director doesn't do the choosing. They'll give the tape to the people who are making the product, and they'll say, we would like to have this individual because of this. And they choose you. And so I don't get I might do 40 or 50 or 60 auditions without ever hearing back, But you have to leave the studio that day and say, I did my best job,
you
and
plant
that's
the
fine.
seeds. You plant the seeds, and you let it go.
And you know that you've done your best, and that's all you can do. And that keeps you going. If you were to involve a whole lot of emotional content and worry about that and say, oh, I thought I gave him, and why didn't they like what I gave him? You wouldn't last too long. You wouldn't last very long.
Yeah, wow. So you just, in Hebrew we say, shlach al panei hamayim, when they tried to save Moses, they put him in a basket, and they put him in the river. Why not? I mean, what else is going to happen? Give it a shot,
Yeah, right.
Put it on the water, at least maybe he might float to the right spot.
That's it, yeah.
And that seems like that's the way you approach this. Now, Dr. Scholl's, you're doing some stuff with him now. Is it okay to talk about that?
Well, I guess so. Right now we're just working on a program where they're, in other words, a lot of times I'll make sound effects for inanimate objects. And try to bring them to life.
Okay.
So in this case, they're thinking about doing having certain things. I guess we'll be careful a little bit what we talk about in case we're revealing any secrets. But
yes,
they want to they want to bring their product to life. So a lot of times I'll give sound effects to inanimate objects. They might say, "Listen, we want these flowers to talk, or we want these leaves to rustle. What do you think these leaves would sound like if they rustled?" And you say, like, well, they're short leaves, they're small leaves, they might sound like little people. But if you had big, huge palm fronds, it might be a whole different attitude. Yes. So a lot of times you will have to give your interpretation. You'll have to think of, how would that sound? How would that sound?
That's interesting.
What feeling would that have? So I'm asked to do that many times, sound effects on...
You're looking at something visual, and what would those flowers sound like?
Yeah, what would they sound like?
Want to give it a shot?
Yeah.
what would they sound like?
Just like, little dainty flowers.
That's very nice. Now, you are Frank Sims Jr. Your father was also in this, as we mentioned at the start of the show, and your brother is also doing some animation work at this time.
Well, my brother has sung with me in many of these records. He's sung with me in the Billy Joel records, the David Bowie records, Let's Dance, and China Girl, Modern Love. He and I were on tour in 1983, a while back. I went all over the world for about 9-10 months. Went to all over America, Europe, Asia, and Australia, and playing in multiple cities, again, for anywhere from 30,000 people to 500,000 people.
Wow.
In huge concerts. And we got to travel together, and we got to wear outfits together and play with David Bowie, and it was a great experience. My brother and I are very close, and we're only 18 months apart.
Yeah, let's have a look at this. Some of these costumes from David Bowie. I'll hold them up while the camera gets adjusted.
Okay, that's a shot from 1983.
Look at that.
And we were singing a song called Look Back in Anger, one of David Bowie's tunes, Look Back in Anger. And that's me with the striped suit.
Yes.
And my brother there with the hat and the striped suit. And then David was wearing the pastel suits in that era.
Very nice. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the things you've done with Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, I sing for Saturday Night Live. A lot of times they have, first of all, I sing the Saturday TV Fun House, which is the theme to the Robert Smigel cartoons, which they have every different week, and it's all different things. They have cartoons about mostly political subjects. It's a very politicized forum for Robert Smigel. And I also do a lot of the theme songs for the skits. They had a couple called the Needlers, and the Needlers are the joke is that they're always fighting each other. They're needling each other. So that's it. So I would sing the theme song for the Needlers, and then I would sing. Sometimes they would have different parody commercials.
Yeah.
They had one where they had corn chip nail tips,
Yeah.
and they had a bunch of urban kids in a subway, all dressed up in the graffiti all over. And the joke was that these girls would put on nail tips, but they were made of Frito corn chips. So I mean, just how Saturday Night Live is a crazy bunch of writers.
Yeah.
So I would sing in a rap style for that theme song. So
how did that go? Can you give me a little snippet of that one?
Corn chips, nail tips. So it was that's all. That was my part. And then a lot of times when I sang with Elvis Costello. On Saturday Night Live when he performed. And then on the 25th anniversary of Saturday Night Live, they had the entire audience was comprised of all celebrities. They had there's no just people from off the street.
Yeah.
Visitors. It was all every single seat was a celebrity. And then I sang with Al Green. And so
Al Green.
Yeah, so I sang with Al Green.
A friend of mine wrote some of his songs.
Yeah.
Love is a Wonderful Thing.
Yeah.
Seth
Al
Swirsky.
Green is also a reverend, and Al Green is a very spiritual guy.
Oh yes, I'm very interested in the struggle that he had in dealing with religious music and R&B
and R&B,
and how he resolved it, and, the sexuality, the spirituality, how to make it both work. And
exactly, yeah. So I sang with him on stage. So occasionally I would sing with the musical acts on stage, and then sometimes I would do voiceovers for the acts. And they had one called Swiffer Sleeper instead of the Swiffer Sweeper. The Swiffer Sleeper, where they attached a pole to a child's sleeping outfit, and we would rub the floor with the child because the suit. They had the suit, and they would. So that was a Swiffer. Here comes Swiffer Sleeper. And I was like, Swiffer Sleeper. So I would do the voiceover too. So a lot of times I'd have multiple personalities. I would do the voiceover guy and the singer.
Yeah.
And different parts on the same commercial. Yeah. So
they must be delighted. They could get so much out of you, So listen, we're coming to the end of this particular segment, and you've been a really very animated and fun guest.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun to talk about my experiences. I've been around a long time. And
now, real quick, Skate for the Cure.
Skate for the Cure. The benefit for the Juvenile Diabetes Fund. This will be the third year I've hosted where they invite many Olympic skaters, and they have local skaters.
Yes.
They have skating teams. They have individual skaters from the area, from Connecticut and New York and Rhode Island and Massachusetts.
Okay.
And they've invited Olympic greats, people who have Katie Hughes.
And that's June 30th. It's coming on.
June the 30th.
And
Marty Nichelle, our friend Marty Nichelle, is directing that. And
I will see you there.
Good, very much. You'll be there.
Sorry to cut you off, but we ran out of time.
Okay.
You'll come again. Okay.